Hey guys, we are back with episode 30, and we're going to try to do something very positive today. But before I get to that, we're going to give you some updates, and then we'll jump right into it. I do have about 5 more episodes done, all interviews, and some. There's one that's just going to be about job placement, conversation between two people with disabilities, and where we are today and how we got there and all that. So that's going to be a very important one. And so what other things? Oh, so people have been reaching out to me, and I not just people that I'm interviewing, but just people just like, hey, I really like what you're doing, and I'm very grateful. Like I can't believe how many people like care. It's very nice, and someone went out of their way. They heard the Lift and You Learn Joel's Spina Bifid episode, and they made me a website that's really good. Everything that I could use. Like it has all the it has all the fixins, as they say. It has like 3 or 4 different platforms that you can stream it from, or you can just stream it from the website. You can also, let's see, I'm gonna pull it up right now. Okay, here we go. Yeah, you can stream all the episodes without even clicking on those apps, but if you prefer Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, it's there. And let's see here. Got all my social media, my Facebook, Twitter, and my Instagram, which I have just started. Yeah, it's going. Like I've been putting some stuff up. People are liking it. Just trying something different. That was Cherie's idea. She said start an Instagram, so I'm trying something new and finding a couple people off of that too. And yeah, so the website, which is called myblurredopinion.podsite.io. Yeah, I have to remember it. Like I said, it's just new. I just got it the other day. But it's really nice. Like I said, it's simple, but it does what I needed to do. It was something that I was considering. So, yeah, thank you to this person that I still don't know. I know it's odd, but I don't know him. And actually, it could be a she for all I know. Either way, thank you. Thank you for, it's weird to say I have a fan, but yeah, thank you for being a fan, and thank you for the nice gesture you gave to me. I won't forget that. And I've been like circulating the web for other topics, or I should say Facebook. There's some topics that I've wanted to cover, but I have to find people for them. I don't want to. One of the big ones I want to do is homelessness, and I can't do it because I've never been homeless. I've never, I've always had a place to sleep, and very fortunate for that. So I wanted to find someone who either has been homeless or has, has done something for that community and can spread light on it. And because we have stigmas attached. Like we believe a lot of the stigma that's attached to them, and we don't understand how they get to where they get to, besides just, they lost their money or they became alcoholics. But there's a lot more into it. And I think homeless people, honestly, in some ways, are the freest people that we have. But also, they are also probably the most forgotten. Because we just look at them like, oh, these dirty people or these bums, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, they have a story too. Some of those people like being homeless. Some of those people their life is more like, there's people who like being in prison. There's people that, and again, I'm not equating prison to being homeless. I mean, even that does play a part in some ways, but in general, people in prison are also forgotten about. There's a lot of people say, well, once you do the crime, once you do the time, you did the crime or whatever. that's a good sentiment, but in general, most people don't really believe that, because it's like, if you killed somebody, people are going to hold the fact that you were a murderer for the rest of your life. So, and when we forget about those people, we don't want to really rehabilitate them, because we've already written them off. Homeless people, we've written them off entirely. Like, we don't. How many people really, you see those guys shaking the bells at, outside your Walmart or wherever? How often do you really think you should go help them? So, I've been trying to find people, and there's quite a few people have been reaching out, so I'm definitely going to delve into that. And it's just amazing how many people care, how many people are trying to make a difference. And I've seen that on Instagram, and I'm finding more and more people. And so, guys, if I seem out of breath, I don't know why. I had to run up my steps, but I'm not that out of shape, so I don't know. My breath is like, I'm trying to get it, and it's just like, yeah. Anyway, don't worry, I'm not nervous. At least not yet. But yeah, so I got a website, some new topics I want to talk about. I was on another person's podcast, Intersectional Insights, with Raven, Lacuria, and Olivia. They're three blind black girls. That's what they say. And they're lovely. And we did an episode on dating, and they wanted the male's perspective of someone who's disabled or visually impaired. And so that went well. That'll be out February 11th, and I will post a link. And Raven's going to be on my podcast soon. She's the one I did with the not motivational speaking. Jesus. I guess technically this is all that, but the one on the job placement and all that for the disabled. So there's that. I think I'm going to be on theirs again. And yeah, I keep finding more and more people, and it's just great. So again, thanks guys for all your support. Now, our topic today. I wanted to talk about the good things of being disabled, handicapped, whatever bullshit term you want to float around, whatever you want to say, it's politically correct or not, or whatever. I want to talk about the good things. And again, this is my opinion. Look, some people have it a lot harder than me, so we're not gonna just like, well, is this all their opinions? No, this is mine. So I really do, like I said about the homeless, I feel like we're very free in our own way, because we're kind of the people that people look at and they point and they stare and so on, but we kind of get real reactions out of people. Like, it's really easy to pick up on people, not only their aggression, but just how they feel and how uncomfortable they are with something that's different. And it's easier to determine the type of people you should have in your life. Again, not all. Some are good at faking it, and some are good at showing that they care. It's just maybe they have been beaten down or whatever. But, it's quite interesting, just because I have enough interactions. I work out in the public, and, it's amazing how many people will be uncomfortable with you. Or, the way they deal with you is just belittling you in a way that's not even just subliminal, but just this like hidden tone, and just the way you can just tell they're uncomfortable with what you are. And you can say, well, that's a bad quality, but in a way it also is nice, because you can pick up on this shit and you just go, okay, these are the type of people I despise and I don't want around me. And when the good people, some people that I have mentioned, it's nice that they treat you the same. Like I mentioned to my uncle in the past on the fatherhood episode or whatever, being a man, and I don't remember if I said it on there, but one of the good things he did do is he always treated me, he didn't always treat me great, but he never treated me shitty because of my eye condition. He did treat me pretty much how he treats everyone else, just shitty. But still, that's something, right? So you got to figure, like, it gives you a different understanding of how, maybe, I mean, I get mentally, I'm just weird. And I try to think outside the box, and I try to figure out what's really going on. And, you know, some of these things that I'm going to say are going to sound like they're negatives, but you always got to try to spin it into a positive if you can. And I've learned this more by speaking to a lot of these people, all of them, everyone I spoke to so far, and the ones that you haven't heard yet. There's a guy named Phil coming up, and he really maybe do some soul searching. Great guy, and just, his positivity was just, it really resonated and really hit me in a way of, appreciate what you got. And so I'm trying to be have a little more pep in my step and try to care. And I mean, I've always cared, but sometimes you get lost in the hatred and the anger and the sadness that has been brought over you. Even if it's valid, you still are tired and you still just don't want to deal with anyone's crap. And enough of that builds up. And then you have all this resentment. And you don't want to acknowledge some of the good things that you have, or, some of the things that maybe you ruined because of how frustrated and angry and sad you are. And so since we're doing this in a positive direction, like, my eyes have been good lately. Good for me. I don't mean good for me like, oh, pat on the back, but good, good. My eyesight is good for me. I can function like this. I love this. It brings me joy that I can see enough to do all the things I want to do. Still not great. Still can't see out of the left side of my face. My right side is hanging in there, and it's pushing. And it gives me encouragement. It gives me the ability to fight and want to put more into this podcast, and because I feel better. And maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just love myself and appreciate myself no matter how bad my eyes or good my eyes are. But I'm going to take what I can get. Anything that's in a positive direction, anything that's positive at all for me, I'm going to take. Because mentally, I'm constantly going back and forth. And there's a constant just, little whisper in the back of my head going like, hey, psst, psst, over here. That thought you had earlier where you were happy and maybe you felt cute or whatever. No. You're basically a piece of junk. And it's like, whoa. So yeah, and you battle that, and I've been winning a lot of them. So hey, good for me, right? So a legit pat on the back, I guess. So yeah, like, what is it that makes being disabled good? Like I said, overall, yeah, it sucks. It's not great, but you become stronger humans. You really do. Like, we can deal with a lot that's thrown our way more than most people. You see all these people throwing a fit over, a relationship, on the slides, relationships just going on the downslide, and or somebody didn't get the gift that they wanted for their birthday, or whatever it is, their president didn't win, or with all the shit that's going on, people didn't get their way. And in some ways it's kind of dark, it's kind of sad, but we can deal with whether it's death or another hurdle that's thrown in our way, no matter how big or small that hurdle is. It's like maybe whatever, our disability gets worse, or maybe it's just we lose our job and now we have to find another one because it's much harder for us. But the journey, we end up appreciating our journey more. We appreciate our lives more. Yeah, we do build up a lot of anger and resentment in these things, but, we also find ways to get out of bed. And, that's a battle in itself. Every day is getting out of bed. And I've spoken about this in many interviews with a lot of the people I've had on, and the mental aspect. You win those wars or those battles, you have a better chance of winning the war. The overall war of just staying alive and trying to make the best life for you, even if your life is hard. And there's people out here that are making the best of very, very shitty, Jesus, can't talk today, shitty situations. And that's a great thing in itself, because you there's a lot of people that are dealt just one or two things, and they just, either they kill themselves or they lose everything that they are or were. And, the more I turn these rocks over and I do this digging and try to find these amazing people, what I keep discovering is just like, shit, there's so many more people like me. And this is how you bridge the gap. Find all these people in all these different areas of the community, people with different conditions, and it doesn't even they don't have to be disabled. It could be just people overcoming addiction or mental health, or, maybe they were homeless. Maybe they, maybe they were in the war and they lost a limb, and, there's so many, people were abused or bullied or molested, or, there's so many ways you can, if you connect all these pieces and you put it all on the front line and say, we want change for this and this. Raven and I mentioned her and she's coming on soon, but we had a discussion on the phone, just her and I, not on recording. So, Raven and I were having this discussion where we're talking about just different, what the hell do I want to say? Well, basically, we were talking about like special interest groups, and just, I've never been a big fan of them because I think they all start off in a good way, but then they end up, greed kicks in and they ruin all these things. And I always said we need one whole foundation that covers all. So like for the disabled community here, like in Pennsylvania, we have something called OVR. And it's the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. And now they have all these like subdivisions, these little branches that are within OVR. So like for the blind, it's what the hell is it called? Jeez, I can't even think right now. BVS, Blind and Visual Services. And so it's like, I thought of it like that, like, okay, there could be a division for black people, there's a division for gay people, but the overall is fighting for the right causes. Everybody's is united, and maybe toward the end of the year we all come together. Maybe black people deal with their problems and whoever's in that group, and then there's people in the gay division which is a crazy way to say that, the gay division. Dun dun dun. But there there's the disabled division. There's this and this and but at the end of the year we come together and we're united. Maybe we have these parades or these ceremonies or whatever, and we all come together, and it's like we're joined together to fight, discrimination and all these things. But for the rest of the year, it's like, we're taking care of this department, you take care of that department, but we're united. And so that's the same thing I was talking about with the people with disabilities. It's like if we all, I can be one of the, men on the front line for the blind and the visually impaired, but at the end of the day, like, maybe at the end of the year, it comes down to, it's like, yeah, I'm going down there with the deaf, and I'm going down there with, the mentally challenged and whoever else, and that's what we need, because we're very strong people solo, but we don't come together, we don't support each other enough. So if we did, we would be unstoppable. I believe we could really make real change, and really, if it makes people get uncomfortable over the dumbest shit anyway. People are very sensitive and uncomfortable with really who they are and what they believe in and all these things. So we really are just people walking around in Halloween costumes to them. Like they don't know what the hell to do with us. Like they're just uncomfortable. And because we're missing a limb or we look a little funny or whatever, deep down, even if they're gorgeous, they're so insecure with it that it's like they really feel like they can be better than us just because of, whatever, somebody's eye is a little crooked or something, and it's like, you think that? Like, karma, one, is a bitch, and two, you know, somebody in your family may have one of these problems. Or you may have one of them, or somebody. Hell, your fucking pet may come down with something. And then you're gonna have to feel a different way. And so we, as a disabled group, we deal with a lot of sorrow and a lot of just pain. Some of the things I say on it, it comes straight from pain. And it sucks. But again, like I said, we endure and we become strong people. And I think we tend to appreciate the little things more than most people. Like, we can appreciate the things that we have that others don't. Like, there's people that I've talked to that are in a wheelchair and they are like, I'm happy that I have my eyes. And it's like, well, shit, like, I would rather have my legs than my eyes. But like, that's what it comes down to. Like, even if you think his situation is more extreme than mine, it's like they can still look at me and go, I'm glad I got that. And it's like, that's humbling in itself. Like, strength is so hard to, a lot of people are very weak. Not just like a certain color or gender or other, our country, or no, people in general are just naturally sensitive and weak. And you need a lot of shit to happen to you to mature you and to toughen you up. And if you're not around people like that, or you're not constantly experiencing it for yourself, then you're probably going to grow up, whatever, it's privileged or, completely ignorant to certain ideals and how people live their lives. And I've always tried to entrench my life, like try to get into people that are not like me and people that are going through different experiences, and I try to learn from their situations so I can not be ignorant to that. Again, I don't know everything. It's just, we all make mistakes, but I'm okay with that. And I think one of the things that we do, at least some of us, we also we can own who we are more. Because people already tell us, and life tells us. Life is just like, look, you're this blind guy who walks through life and, you have problems. But I'm so okay with that. I'm okay with having mental health. If it makes people think I'm crazy, or makes people think, I'm stupid, or, inside I'm just ugly mentally, or what, like, you can feel that about me, but it doesn't hurt me anymore. It's like a fat guy walks into a room and everybody is about to make fun of him. He just goes, hey, here comes the fat guy. It's like, so you're just going to do like repeated, a buffet of fat jokes because he just, no pun intended with buffet. But are you just going to shit on him for being big because he already did it? Like, so if you're trying to hurt his feelings, he seems like he's kind of cool with it. So, I guess if you're friends, cool. But in general, like, he addressed it. So with me, yeah, I have my insecurities and I have, my sadness and my negativity and my pain and all that. But that just makes me human. Now, maybe I have a little more because of the things I've been through. But, so be that. Like, I'm not worried about it anymore. Like, I'm becoming more free and becoming more myself. My filter's going away. And yeah, I know maybe that's not good for this type of society that we're in, this climate and whatever. But you know what? Fuck it. Like, so be it. I'm not, like, I know I'm a good person deep down, no matter how much my head tells me otherwise or certain people tell me otherwise. I know I'm a good person. I have to try to hold on to that. Losing my sanity and losing me. Like, a lot of the things that I've told you guys, I've lost parts of me. I told you about the Lori story. I said I lost a part of me in that. Losing Diva. And just a lot of the trauma and stuff. Of course, I lose a part of me. I still have this small kid mentality to me because a lot of my childhood was taken from me. And I try to just have fun and try to just be goofy and some people are like, well, sometimes you don't act like an adult. I don't give a shit. Like, whatever. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to be happy. No matter how many sad things I talk about, I'm trying to be happy. That's the goal. I don't want to give people fake smiles just to people think I'm like, so I'm not like a monster or a zombie. So, yeah, I mean, I can own who I am. I would never be this way if I wasn't disabled. Um, and it's like I feel like it gives you some sort of power in a way. Like, Angela talked about the superhero theory, but it just, if you can own your disability, if you can, actually disable your disability, like some of the goals that we should have, like we should want to get off our disabilities and Social Security. We should want to strive for more. We have to stop letting people just tell us that's all we're worth and all we have. Like that's something we need to get rid of. I want to get rid of my disability at some point. As much as it is a safe system and it helps me from, being broke. And, again, I also make okay money at work too. And you put it together, I do really well. But I shouldn't want that. I need to push further. I need to figure a way around all of it. And we, as disabled people, like we do, there's a lot of good that's done out here. And we can't just be complacent and just sit around and expect things to just change for us, because it's not going to happen. Because you know what happens when we usually sit around? Bad things happen. And yeah, it sucks because a lot of times I am looking over my shoulder. I'm like, man, this podcast is going well, but when is something bad going to happen? But it's like, you know what? The next bad thing that comes, I'm going to fight that shit off too. I'm going to have to do, And that's why I keep surrounding myself with all these good people. Some you've met and some you haven't, but that's what we got to do. We got to stop constantly just denouncing and pushing things away because we don't understand it. I don't understand half the shit that goes on out here either, but I'm open to what it could be. I'm open to being wrong about something. So, yeah, I mean, so kind of back to the topic here. What makes it good to be disabled? I say that like I'm answering my own question. So, just the giraffe. I'm looking over the corner of my apartment. There's about a 5-foot tall giraffe, big stuffed giraffe, very realistic looking. So, I'm just assuming she's asking me that. Yes, she's a she. No, I have not flipped her over and checked, but I'm taking her word on it. But yeah, being disabled, like I'm coming to terms just even the last few weeks. Like that's kind of the interesting thing about me is that I learn on the fly. Like I'm continuously learning. I'm continuously gathering information and trying to be better as a human, because we do naturally have these horrible thoughts and these things. Like we can control them. Some of us can, some can't. But we all have bad things in our brain, and it's like, how do we get them out? How do we try to fight that? Well, learn and you live and you learn. You got to experiment. You got to experience. You have to try to. You have to also make yourself vulnerable. You have to let yourself feel pain, physically, mentally, emotionally. You have to experience, rejection. You have to experience, denial and hatred. You have to experience, people just, neglection. You got to experience so many things to actually come to terms with who is the real you. And you have to let people in, because if you don't, then you become cold-hearted, and then there's a lot of people out here that may be really good for you, but you're going to blow them off. And then that might have been your one chance of just finding true love or a best friend or whatever. But you also have to keep forgiveness in your heart. Like, you have to keep, understanding of other people's wrongs. Because if you can accept your wrongs and you want people to accept yours, you also have to accept theirs. And as a person who's been discriminated against and for my entire life, and horrible things have been done and said upon me, and I still try to look for the good in people. I still try to love people. I still try to make up and make amends with a lot of the people, like my dad and others, to, really not carry more burdens upon, just you carry all these skeletons in your closet and you just think like, oh, that's never going to come back to bite me in the ass. And it does. You got to get rid of that. And in order for me to do that, I've had to go through all the things I went through. And then I need to look at myself and think of all the things I did, good or bad, and the things that have been done to me, good or bad, and go, okay, do I want more of this or more of that? And if I want more of the good, and I want people to accept my bad, how can I not accept their bad? Now, again, there's some bad maybe you can't overcome or whatever, but we have to keep an open mind to all of it. And I think that comes from everything I've been through. And there's people that aren't disabled that can think this way as well. And I'm not saying that we all feel this way, but we need to get to a place where we're somewhat close to this, because if we don't, like I said, our disability and our mental health is going to eat us alive anyway. So we have to own every second we have, and we got to make a difference. So it's like, I could die tomorrow and like there's 29 episodes out. Maybe somebody picks up on that years later and just goes, wow, like that was something. That interview with Dunya or Rob or whoever, like that made change my life, and that made me feel a certain way and made me feel better about my life. So, you keep putting out good things to the world, because there's too much bad shit floating around anyway. There's too much things that are, catching our attention and keeping us from loving each other and keeping us from seeing the actual truth of things. That's why there's so many conspiracy theories out there to all this, because no one wants to believe. And again, some of them are true, but no one wants to believe the kind of things that are just straight and forward right in front of you, because some of it's so messed up that you're like, no, come on. Somebody couldn't have drove a plane into a building or buildings and wiped out, hundreds of thousands of people. No, come on. It's like, no. They do. That's what they do. So. So yeah, like I said, being disabled. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but I'm also like, it's all here somehow. I didn't write anything down, so that's why my mind just boing, boing, bounces off of this and that. I'm just trying to think, like, what else is good about being disabled? I think you have more empathy, more care in your heart, because you don't want to be treated how people treat you. Now, again, there's some of us that have a genuine hatred and want bad things upon other people because of what has been done to us. And look, I don't agree with it, but I also understand it too. And a lot of us are very kind. We love. Even if we don't have anyone who loves us, we love. And we want to, or we have love to give, a lot of it. It's just, it might be hard for us to give it to you because so many people have rejected us. like the bully thing where like he's like, hey, come here, and he goes to pretend like he's gonna shake you in the hand as you go to reach your hand, like he punches you in the stomach type of thing, and you just feel horrible. Now you're hurting, and now now you're hurting mentally too, 'cause your psyche and your your whole bravado and everything is just all, you just feel like I'm a complete idiot. So yeah, guys, like I said, nothing's easy about this kind of life. There's not a lot of great, I will admit that. But the great that does come from it, and when you can get to a certain place where you can help people with those conditions or other conditions, just help inspire and to help bring people together and give love to just strangers or to people that need it. When you're in a fortunate place of being able to share and be one of the strong ones, and you can uplift another person, that's fantastic. And that's really what it's about. And I'm happy that I can do that in my small way. I'm happy that people, have reached out and said that I've helped make their day, and, this helps them get them through all the traumatic things they've been through or anything they're mentally preparing themselves for on a daily basis. Is they may stumble upon an hour of my stupid voice and it helped them. So, how can I not want to continue this? How could I not want to strive for more? And I feel like really something good is going to come from this. And I've been feeling it for a while. I don't know what it is. And again, some stuff is already happening, but I feel like there's some form of this can be bigger. I think part of the reason why I've been so not against it, but just having a negative tone towards it is because I'm not a safe person. Meaning, like, I'm not a person that you can just put on TV and just go, hey, guys, life is great. It's not me. I can be rough around the edges, but I have a lot of love to give, and I'm very supportive and so on, but I'm not a person that's not just going to try to glorify and make this life that I'm living with, make it like it's easy. I can't talk about the good without talking about the bad. And I'm also not a person that is trying to go along on this journey by myself. I'm bringing everyone that I know and anyone that I don't know that's going through this kind of shit. I'm bringing everybody with me. If I could support someone else's podcast or someone else's blog or whatever, let's do it. Because it's not about, like, we're not helping anyone's cause by just getting famous or getting, getting some kind of status in the world and then just forgetting about where you came from. We get lost in money. We get lost in, these amenities that eventually come from some sort of wealth or just status that we forget. And I could never forget. I don't care if my eyes get perfect tomorrow and I gain $2 billion somehow. I can never allow myself to forget. And in reality, I don't want my eyes to come back in a lot of ways. I'd like a little bit more sight, maybe. But if I could just keep what I have right now and it never gets worse, I could honestly say I'm happy with that. And I don't have a lot of sight, guys. So, yeah. All right, guys. I know I rambled. Sorry for that. I hope this was helpful to someone. I hope it was just important, just dialogue, and hope it just kind of made you think a little. And it's not so bad being disabled for the ones. I mean, look, it's bad, but it's not. When you get to a certain place, you can make it something else. Another thing is good about being disabled also is that, of course, I just lost my train of thought. Thriving and just proving people wrong. And not just like the people that actually physically or vocally come out and say like, you can't do that. That's great. But just knowing that, there's no big, when do you see anybody who's actually disabled in movies or shows that are not actually disabled? Like I found out that the kid from Breaking Bad that played Walter Jr., Bryan Cranston's son, he doesn't even have, what the hell do you have? Cerebral palsy, I think? I forget what condition. Either way, but he was so, and look, don't get me wrong, he was dead on, really good. But he doesn't even have that condition. I'm like, why couldn't you just get someone? And again, like I love that show. Don't get me wrong, it's a great show. But it's just like, how much representation do we have? But how great is it when you actually see someone doing that? But we don't need to just have these anomalies, these couple people that kind of break through and just go, yeah, I'm the deaf guy on this show, or I'm a blind lawyer. It's like, yeah, that's great, but we need more of that. Stop letting people tell you no. As Paul and I always say, fuck limitations. That's what it needs to be. Yes, we have some limitations. Come to terms with those, and then create a world where you fit in. So, and it's possible. But again, I can't do it alone, and neither can you. For those who are out there that are dealing with God knows what. So yeah, guys, I know I sounded like I was about to end it 3 times already, but this one's gonna be it. This is going to be it. Yeah, I will see you guys on the next one. Like I said before, there's 4 already done, 31 through 34. So yeah, they're great interviews, and there's more that I'm working on, and I'm really pushing this. So I don't know where I'm gonna be mentally after another year down the road from this, but hopefully I'm still around, and hopefully I still have the drive and passion. So yeah, guys, I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.